Hello everybody, it's Sylvie. Welcome back. I hope you're doing good. Today's video is going to be something of an experiment, I guess. I think I am accidentally making a little video series on ways to play around with the tarot system, and especially ways to tap into how self-referential the tarot is. So I have a video on what I am calling tarot maths because I couldn't come up with anything snappier, where I pulled two cards at random, and then by thinking about the different meanings that each of those have, I come up with a third card that incorporates both those meanings. So it's like this card plus this card equals this third card. So that video is up. You can go watch that if this sounds interesting. But I thought it would be fun, and I say fun. I have a very specific brand of fun that is basically just over-analysis of the things I enjoy, but I thought it would be fun to do something kind of similar, but this time I want to map the minor arcana onto the major arcana. Again, similar kind of thing. I want to kind of connect some dots in the tarot and link the minor cards with major cards based on some of those overlapping connections. So that's what I'm going to have a go at doing today. I'm gonna set up and then talk at you and get into it. Okay, and the fool is just gonna chill over here. Right. Is this gonna end in a horrible mess? Quite possibly. But that is the major arcana. Sorry about the glare. We're doing what we can. So I have my majors, which are just about all in frame. We're working with what we've got, okay? So my plan is, and I think I'm going to start with the pentacles, and I will tell you for why. But first of all, I'm going to tell you what I'm actually going to do. Heaven forbid I give you information in a linear fashion. Who do you think I am? Right. And I'm just going to do 1 through 10. We're going to leave the quartz out of it for the time being. So I'm gonna put my pentacles to one side. All right, so basically I'm gonna take my cards and I'm gonna map them onto the major cards based on common associations. So really, it doesn't sound that complicated. I feel like I'm gonna struggle. I'm not going to strictly just follow elemental associations or planetary associations. Off the top of my head, I know that the 9 of Pentacles is Venus in Virgo, but I'm not just going to stick it on the Hermit card. And yeah, we're going with the Pentacles today. I don't know why, but they're calling to me. I think something to do with mapping the material onto the archetypal and spiritual of the major arcana. It just feels right to do this with the Pentacles. I don't know if I will do this with other cards. Maybe, if I have fun and I don't embarrass myself too horribly. I'm always worried when I do stuff like this that I'm gonna forget everything I know about the tarot and it's gonna be horribly embarrassing. In which case, I could just not put it on the internet. So I'm not quite sure what I'm panicking about. Like I said, I'm doing with the Rider-Waite-Smith. This is my Centennial in a tin, partly because it's the only one I could even slightly guarantee I would get in shot, but also it's the original resource. It makes so much sense to be looking at this with the Pentacles and with the original deck. That just made sense in my brain. If I do this with the other suits, it'll be interesting to see what decks I decide to do it with. I'm going to get into this. I'm going to see what I come up with. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you tried an exercise like this, and I'd be super curious to see what anybody else comes up with, or what you would associate. But I guess let's get into it. This is a bit of fun. This is a thought experiment. Don't come for me too badly if I completely forget what the tarot means. So we have the Ace of Pentacles. And I feel the most obvious choice would be the Fool, but I actually think that for this Ace specifically of Pentacles, the Earth suit, I think the Magician, I think the Magician. Let's hold them up as though we don't know what these cards look like. This is going to be a visually boring video. It's just me talking at you. So yeah, I think the Magician for the Ace of Pentacles, because One of my favorite keywords for the magician is manifestation, which I think fits so well with the Pentacles suit. Like, to define manifestation in the sense of like making something abstract or theoretical into something like real or tangible or measurable, like that fits so well with the Pentacles suit. And the Ace of Pentacles, like being that first little like nugget, first little seed of making something into something real. It's like a kind of creation, which obviously is what the magician is all about. So that makes much sense to me. And I feel like all the aces would probably work quite well with the magician because they're all that like first spark, and then the magician is doing that like transmutation and creation. But I think especially the Ace of Pentacles. All right, Two of Pentacles. Two of Pentacles is like we're juggling, we're keeping the momentum, we're keeping the balls in the air. The Chariot, right? Yes, where are you? The Chariot, I think. This makes sense to me. So I already said it, one of my favorite keywords for the Two of Pentacles is momentum. And actually also it's one of my favorite keywords for the Chariot as well. So that felt like a very basic, like matchy like keyword pairing for these two. But yeah, I think they illustrate different points on that like spectrum though, like different ways to define or use momentum, because the Two of Pentacles is juggling and needing to keep all the balls in the air, because if you drop them, it's so much harder to pick up than start again than it is to just keep that momentum going. Whereas like the Chariot is already going full pelt. We're driving without reins. We've gained a lot of momentum, and it's that willpower and determination to like stay on course and not just fly off into a ditch somewhere. So like they're different kinds of momentum, and they're like kind of coming at it from different angles. But I think I'm pleased with that. Okay, Three of Pentacles. Collaboration, teamwork, building. Ooh. Collaboration, teamwork, building. Kind of a creation, but not the magician kind of creation. Ooh. Temperance. Yes. Temperance. Okay. And this makes sense to my brain, I promise. So like collaboration in the Three of Pentacles, and three people coming together and using their skills to build something. Like the built thing is greater than the sum of its parts, or whatever that saying is that I always butcher. And then the Temperance is like alchemy, is making something out of, well, I like it to be water and fire. This is just 2 cups of water, but you know, it's that like taking disparate elements and making something more out of them. So it's like this is a deliberate fusion of different elements in the Temperance, and then the Three of Pentacles is like literally building something, literally creating something in that sense that maybe each individual wouldn't be able to create on their own. So, and also like this is, like I just said, like a deliberate fusion of elements. It's not just like shit happens and we're making the best of it. It's like, no, we're deliberately blending things in the Temperance card. And then in the Three of Cups, like if we look at this as like stonemasonry, like this again is a very deliberate project. You have to have like plans in place. You've brought the right people together. You've mapped it out. Like this again is a very deliberate creation of something. So that makes sense to me. And it's my video, so I'm the only one it needs to make sense to. Okay, so far I feel like this has been relatively straightforward, which makes me feel like I'm getting that like imposter syndrome of like, oh, this feels easy, so I must be doing it wrong, as if this isn't something that I invented for myself. Okay, Four of Pentacles. Like it feels obvious, but like the devil, right? It's got to be the devil. Actually, Four of Pentacles, 2, 3, 4 would be cardinal Earth, which is Capricorn, right? So actually, these are associated, which I know I said I wasn't doing deliberately, but like this wasn't deliberate. Okay. Anyway, to make my case for the Devil and the Four of Pentacles, I'm thinking Four of Pentacles, you're holding maybe too tightly to your wealth and your material possessions, and then in the Devil, like you are beholden to your, well, maybe material possessions. That's a reading of it. Like you're beholden to your material possessions. So it's like, it's the same thing. You're holding your wealth too tightly. Your wealth is holding you too tightly. Like, again, they're kind of coming at the same thing from like different angles, which is interesting. Okay. Right, I really am going to struggle with this because like nothing is leaping out at me for the Five of Pentacles. We have the struggle of struggling. We have not seeing what's in front of you, but like then you've got the light of the church window saying that there is something bigger than you, like faith, but also I think like community. Personally, that's often how I read it, is because like I don't have a church of faith that I attend, so I feel like, yeah, something larger than you, speaking to the power of community to help you. Like if you can see like a solution to the Five of Pentacles, I think that's what it would be. Does any of that help me pick a major card? No. Okay. Maybe like I almost kind of think the High Priestess. Oh, we're dropping her. That's not a good start. Come back. Like the High Priestess can represent like a spiritual journey and relationship between like self and the divine, which like I guess you could say this is a part of that. Like if you turn to the divine, then it will solve your problems, but like that doesn't feel quite right, and that also just doesn't really sit quite right with how I read the cards. And like the Hierophant, where are we? The Hierophant doesn't feel quite right either, even though that's also another like religious-y card. Like the Hierophant is more about structure and learning, which is closer, but like I don't think that's what you need in the Five of Pentacles. Like I said, I think that the so-called solution to the Five of Pentacles within the card is more about like looking to community and forces larger than yourself. Like there are some problems you can't solve on your own, and I don't think like learning is going to do the trick. Maybe the Hanged Man? I'm thinking discomfort. Even though I don't personally tend to read the Hanged Man as discomfort, I know that does tend to be the interpretation of it. Like surrendering to forces larger than yourself, maybe being in that like uncomfortable or painful position. Could also be the Tower, but that's a bit dramatic. Couldn't? I don't know. I think I'm coming back to this one. This is too much of solitude. I think that's what it is. This doesn't feel like a card of solitude. Like there's two figures, and like I said, like I think that what this represents to me is like look to community to help you out. So I'm gonna come back to the Five of Pentacles because it is baffling me. Okay. The Six of Pentacles. The Six of Pentacles is that balance of give and receive. Like it's charity, it's giving, it's sharing resources. Sometimes you're the giver, sometimes you're the receiver. I think, you know what I think? I think the Emperor, because I think inherent in this card to me, in the Six of Pentacles, there is that potential for an abuse of power, which like, let's be fucking real. Emperor, Empire, there's very much a potential for an abuse of power there. So I think they work. Yeah, like the Emperor is about many things, but control is definitely one of them, which like is a necessary role in I'm not speaking about Empire. I don't think Empire is necessary. Let's just like get that out there. But like in whatever situation you might be reading about, like there are things that need controlling. There are things that you need to take control of. So like that is a necessary element. But yeah, there's the potential for an abuse of power there, like tyranny as the shadow side of the Emperor for sure. And the Six of Pentacles, like shadow side, is like the ability to give and withhold resources and like control others via access to resources. So like definitely in shadow, I think there's a lot of similarity between these two. Oh, and also boundaries is one of my keywords for the Emperor, right? Like I'm really going off here, but like boundaries, the creation of, the maintenance of, the enforcing of boundaries is one of my key things for the Emperor when I'm thinking about the Emperor card. And I feel like if someone, so say somebody is within the Six of Cups situation, is abusing their power by like controlling resources, the person who is in the position of like receiving those resources and needing those resources, like they can't realistically have strict boundaries because, like, for instance, you can try and assert strict boundaries with somebody like your employer, which like is not strictly charity, but like you get the gist. Like you can try, but you can't really have and assert and like enforce really strict boundaries with your employer because they have the power to like fire you and you don't have that same kind of power with them. Like there's that imbalance there, right? And I think the Emperor definitely can also be a manifestation of like that role of power. Does that, I feel like I got lost a little bit there, but I feel like I made my point. But I'm going to stop making it because I don't want to spoil it. Who's next? Seven of Pentacles. Okay. The Seven of Pentacles. We're looking bored. I think the Wheel. And I promise not just because I think the Wheel is a boring looking card. Although, you know, maybe. No, okay, I promise I have reasoning for this. So, like, in the Seven of Pentacles, like, there is still work to do. But there's also still, that work is still harvest to be collected. So like it's the good and the bad all mixed in. It's like, especially with this imagery of harvest, like that's a very cyclical kind of work. Like you sow and you reap and you sow and you reap, like cycles, the wheel, like what goes up must come down. There's always going to be times of plenty and bounty when you're like enjoying the harvest. There's going to be times where it's just hard work and like you're not getting any results yet. Do you know what I mean? I also like that this particular image, the Rider-Waite-Smith image, like could illustrate several points in that process. Like, is he currently like mid-work, mid-harvest? Like, at what point in the cycle is he? It's not quite clear. And like, you know, the wheel is all points at all times, if that makes sense. He could also be appreciating what he's got. Although he doesn't look very appreciative, but you know. Seven of Pentacles, the Wheel. Okay, the Eight of Pentacles. Perfection or obsession, mastery. What card represents any of that? Let me have a think. Okay, maybe not so much the element of perfecting a skill. And like, but maybe I'm thinking the Hanged Man here, by the way, in case you couldn't read my mind. The side of the Eight of Pentacles that is not so much having perfected a craft through hard work and dedication, but is more like a little bit more like stagnation. Like you've been working and working at this, but you're still not able to make any progress or like reach the next stage. Or maybe you're still trying to reach this stage of like mastery and perfection of a skill, but you can't seem to get there. So like that stagnation of not being able to progress feels like the Hanged Man to me. Also, I'm happier with this than whatever else it was I was thinking about the Hanged Man for, because it's like much more solitary in the imagery. Yeah, like it's a period of discomfort, and it's a stage you can't, like the Eight of Pentacles, like you can't get past this through like sheer force of will. Like you either need to practice the material elements of the skill to like move beyond it, or you need to change your situation if you're working this hard and it doesn't seem worth it. And equally, like the Hanged Man, you can't, they can't get out of this by themselves. They have just got to hang out there until someone else comes in to aid them. So like, yeah, they feel similar. They have similar energy to me. Okay, the Nine of Pentacles. Okay, look, I see a woman luxuriating in a garden. It's got to be the Empress. Like even the yellow sky, like there's a lot of the vibes are correct, you know? They both have that sense of like comfort and luxury. I think both cards also warn of, in terms of like a shadow side, like the risk of overindulgence as well. I think they share that too. And also like the Empress is in that creative state where the Nine of Pentacles is more appreciating what has been cultivated, like literally cultivating the grapes on the vine. So I feel like they're different stages of the same journey, maybe. They've both got that sense of abundance. And I mean, yeah, like that one's a no-brainer, surely. Okay. The Ten of Pentacles. The Ten of Pentacles also feels like a no-brainer because legacy, tradition, and the Hierophant. Again, like maybe they're two sides of the same coin, like legacy versus tradition. I feel like they're looking at it from different ends of that like spectrum. The Hierophant's position is one that is born out of hierarchy. And the Ten of Pentacles also does kind of illustrate literally a family hierarchy in a way. Although I don't think that's how I necessarily read it for myself, but that's definitely in there in the card. Like you have this like family patriarch, and here we have the Hierophant. So I feel like that is for sure similar themes, but again, kind of like inverse similar themes. Okay. Oh no, this bloody 5, right. Have I had any sparks of inspiration while I was doing the rest of the Suit of Pentacles? Do you know what? Maybe the Moon? Because they're both kind of sad cards. If you thought I was taking this extremely seriously, you are wrong. Okay, I'm thinking like uncertainty and fears, which is definitely a side of the Moon and is like for sure a side of the Five of Pentacles. There's a kind of discomfort to both these cards. And yeah, like I feel like the Moon is sometimes like, this will pop up when I'm doing a reading and it's saying like, you've got to look at the cold hard truth of the situation, and the Five of Pentacles is definitely illustrating a cold hard truth. So yeah. Also, I'm sure I've read somewhere before, and this isn't really how I read it, but it's stuck in my head for whatever reason, that the Moon can represent like a crisis of faith. And again, like faith, community, reaching for something bigger is a theme in the Five of Pentacles. So that also works. Like looking to faith and community to get you out of the situation. Like maybe you're having a crisis of faith because you're in the Five of Pentacles position, but the solution is to look to community. So yeah, I think that works. Okay, I've spoken for about half an hour about the Pentacles cards. Hopefully the video won't be that long, because a lot of it was definitely me like umming and ahhing to myself, and there's only so much of that you need to hear. But anyway, this was fun. I'm enjoying doing stuff like this. Like I said, I did that tarot maths video, which I will link if you want to go check it out, if you're enjoying this kind of like playing with this system kind of stuff. Like this is what I think is fun. This is what I enjoy doing. Like I love reading the cards, but I don't always want to like do a reading. And I like playing with this system and the way that it like interlinks and overlaps. So I am curious. Okay, so the Magician is Mercury. The Empress is Venus. Although, hey, the Empress, the Nine of Pentacles is Venus in Virgo. So this one does match up, actually. The Empress and the Nine. The Emperor is Aries. So no. The Hierophant is Taurus. But the 10 is Virgo. The Chariot is Cancer. The Wheel is Jupiter. And I don't know what the astrology for this is because I have only just picked back up with my deck and walk with Libra season, so who knows. Temperance is... Fuck, what's Temperance? Where's my brain gone? Is it Sagittarius? It must be. Yeah, Temperance is Sagittarius. The Devil is Capricorn. We already established this one. So like some of them match up. The Moon is Pisces. So some of them, like, I've managed to inadvertently match up, like, signs and planets, but mostly not. Mostly I made various other connections. Anyway, this was fun, but my brain kind of hurts. I've been thinking too long and hard about associations in the cards, so I'm going to leave this one here. If you've made it this far, thank you so much for sticking with me. I hope you've enjoyed. Give me a like if you liked it. Subscribe if you haven't already. If you wanted to do like a VR, or indeed tell me if this has already been done and I've like accidentally copied someone, which I hope is not the case. But anyhow, let me know what you think, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.